Hi guys, it's Joe from JDO Gauge Model Trains. Haven't done a video in a little while. Today we're going to do a video on this Atlas O. It's the tender that comes with the 280. What I'm going to do is change it over to Kadee. We're going to leave the rail wheels obviously, but we're going to change it over to Kadee. Then we'll probably eventually do something about this coal load and get it weathered. So we're going to start the video by changing this coupler first. So what you're going to have to do that is these body screws. There's one here, one here, one here, and one here. You're going to have to unscrew all those. That'll attach the floor or the chassis from the tender. You can take it apart and then we'll be able to get this coupler off. So let's start there. Okay, now that we've taken the 4 screws off, we're going to be able to remove the chassis. But before I do that, what I want to do is release this little push pin so that I can take the coupler off of this right here. So we'll go ahead and do that. Well, that's a terrible way to put that together. I was hoping that would just unplug, but I guess I'm going to have to snip it and tape the wires. Oh well. Alright, so we did that. What we did was we snipped the wire, unplugged it here, pulled it through this way, pulled it through this way, and now we're ready to put this back together. So, make sure you just don't snip the wire when you put this back in. And then what we had to do was we cut the truck right here because we needed to make room for the Kadee coupler box. When you mount the coupler box, you're going to want to use like a coupler gauge or something to make sure you have the right height above track for the coupler. So you're going to have to kind of put this together, mount it, see. So if you do have to bring it down a little bit, you might want to use some shims underneath the coupler to bring it to the right height. You may have to cut into this. There's different things you got to do. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. Okay, so we finished up that, and as you can see by our coupler gauge, the coupler's the right height. I ended up using 6 of these shims to get this box mounted at the right height. It was a trial and error thing. I'm sure you guys didn't want to watch me take this apart and put it together twice. So anyway, there it is at the right height. So it's important you do that because going up and down grades or around curves, the train's just going to come disconnected. All right, so let's get this fixed and put back together. One of the things you want to do before you screw the body back on is bolt down these bolt down these down with some nuts here to keep it together. You don't want it's just based on these 2 nuts. I mean, eventually they probably could come loose and you're going to lose your train. So take the time to get these little nuts. You can buy them at your hardware stores, and you should be all set to bolt this back together. We'll put this on and get the body screwed back together. Okay, so we've got our tender screwed back together. We've got our coupler on there. And so now what I want to do is I want to change this coal load. So the way I'm going to do it, if you watch my how to make realistic coal load video, you'll see I like to use hobby tack or Hobie tack, whatever they call it, and spread this over here. I'll probably build this up a little bit and then just pour a nice layer of coal over that, let it sit for 24 hours. So let's try this and see how it comes out. All right, so as you can see, I spread this all over the top of the plastic coal load, and I dumped my coal all over it. We're going to let that dry for 24 hours, come back and see what we got. Okay, so here's our finished product. I think it came out pretty good. Our coal load looks pretty nice. It's dry. It's gonna stay there as long as we want it to. I took the time to weather the tender and the locomotive. I didn't bother doing that in this video because I already have a video on how to weather a locomotive. So you can look it up. It's the UP Big Boy, and you can watch how I weather a locomotive there. It's a pretty loud video because my compressor makes a lot of noise, and I didn't want to add another half hour onto this video, so check that out there. Kadee couplers on the back just so I can run my freight now with this, and there's my finished product. Let's take it over to the layout and see what it looks like under the layout lighting. Alright, here's the view of what it looks like under the layout lighting. The tender and the locomotive have both been weathered. I think it came out pretty good. Our coal load, if I can get myself out of the shadow, I think that looks a lot nicer than the plastic coal load that came with the locomotive. And the scale coupler on the back, I think looks pretty good. You guys let me know what you think about it, and let's take it around the layout once and see what it looks like. Alright, so I got her fired up, so let's take her around the layout a couple times. Like I told you before, it's not a very good quality control locomotive. Atlas O definitely did not knock this one out of the park. You can tell it's Chinese manufactured. It comes with a blinking marker light, another one that doesn't light, and the gearing in this, it runs really jerky at slow speed. Let's take it around the layout and see what she does. Really got to get it going to get it going, unfortunately. It does not run good at slow speed at all. It's pretty poor running locomotive. So there she is, the completed project. Like I said, I'm not really too happy with the locomotive. I'm glad I traded a project locomotive for this. If I would have spent any money on this locomotive, I'd be pretty upset. Another thing I should mention is the pickup rollers are so close together that this thing really has to race through any type of large switch. I've got some number 6 switches on the layout, and it wants to stall out on them unless I'm running it at about 20 scale miles per hour. So it really doesn't run very good at low speed. It's got a lot of quality control issues. I definitely wait before I bought anything from Atlas O as far as their steam locomotives, especially since they're making them in China. It's just not a good way to spend your money. You might want to look for something that was manufactured around the year 2000, and you'll have a good quality control locomotive. But unfortunately, most of these newer ones just aren't that great. Anyway, there's my video. Give me a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you've got anything to say, and thank you for watching.